guys, I'm Ryan, this is Future Riffs, and today we are going to review a limited edition Beetronics Swarm Fuzz pedal. I'm pretty unfamiliar with fuzz pedals, so you guys are going on this journey with me. Typically I know my stuff. This is new territory. Alright, so let's start this with I've never owned a fuzz pedal. Steven's a fuzz guy. He's a big fuzz guy. Matter of fact, I really want him to make a shirt that says I'm a big fuzz guy with like Steven's face on it, because I think that would be awesome. But I have never owned a fuzz pedal. I have nothing against them. I've just never owned one. There's lots of things I haven't owned. I've never owned a sedan. I've never owned men's haircutting scissors. Anyway, so we're going to go through this pedal, and I'm going to be a little bit of a novice with it. So let's check out these different settings. There's a lot of things, and I have a cheat sheet from the wonderful people of Beetronics. The Swarm cheat sheet and diagram, so I can actually go through some of these settings here, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So right now we're set up on with this setting here. We have our species on number 6. The species setting changes your harmonic interval. As I understand, and with the few fuzz pedals I have played, a lot of them have an octave switch so that you can have a high impedance. And I think it's probably a clarity thing. It's so much easier to hear what note you're actually playing when there's so much fuzz going on, if there's that high trail part. So as you're playing through this, you're able to get those same intervals that you would get out of a different fuzz pedal, except that they have a ton of intervals. So that's the species knob. Let's go all the way to number 1, and let's listen through a couple different ones of these. Let's see. So number 1, I think it doesn't say on the cheat code here, but just listening to it, it definitely sounds like a tight interval, like a 2 or something like that. Oh, that is so cool. When you let go of your of your note, it does this huge power suck sound, like this, and I love that. Okay, I think my review is done. I would own a fuzz pedal just so I could into solo and it made that noise. Okay, so you hear that extra interval in comparison to my intro riff. There's this crazy wind going on with it. Let's keep flipping through them. I'm going to flip through a couple of them. I'm not going to do all 10 or 9. I like that. Oh man, maybe I'll become a fuzz player after this if I can learn kind of what's going on here, but I am digging that dive off of the end every time. Okay, let's look at some of these other species real quick. I'm gonna flip randomly. Let's go to 4. I think that's 4. Yeah, there we go. Let's go to 4. Let's see what 4 sounds like. Sounds very Street Fighter-y. It sounds like it's giving me a 5th. I'm sure there's got to be one guy that watches this that has a really intact ear and is like, no, actually it's a different interval. But it sounds like a 5th to me. It sounds like a power chord. Just one note though. One other thing that I have to point out that I think is really cool about this pedal is its ability to clip. Like, if you aren't picking hard, you get a completely different tone. And if you pick too lightly, you don't get any sound at all. You have to dig with these. But I think the nature of the usage of fuzz leans towards playing kind of hard. That's why you like slam those big bluesy sounding riffs with fuzz, and it just, it just sounds so fat, but you're slamming your guitar, just playing so hard. So let me show you some of that. If I barely pick, this is the sound we get. Let's pick an E on the B string. Now, if I slam into it, you get a lot more clarity. So it really does start to break up. And if I dial my volume back at all, it's only picking up some of my picks because I'm not picking hard enough. If I pick hard enough with my volume dialed back, very cool. Okay, awesome. I have to stop laughing at that sound. I just can't handle how cool it is. I'm so sorry. Make a whole compilation clips of my ridiculous laugh. That would be awesome. Okay, let's start flipping through some of the other things here. Let me bust out this card, and let's learn about some of these knobs here. Okay, so as I understand it, the sting sets the rate of frequency and modulation. So how about, right now we have it at noon, let's make it go to 10, and let's see if we hear a big difference. Okay, I think I recognize the difference. I think that the sting turns up the species. So if I have the species on a weird interval, I think the sting directly correlates to that, or at least that's how it sounds to me. Let's try flipping to a different species setting and see if that's still my opinion. Definitely. Very cool. Okay, so let's turn it off. Alright, the sting is off, and I'm still on species 1, which sounds like a tight interval, like a 2, or maybe on the other end of your octave, like a 7. Oh, that sounds completely different. Oh! That sound is gone! The dive bomb. Oh, wait. Okay, so if I was going to use a fuzz pedal, I'm keeping this, or if I was going to use the Beetronics Swarm, I would keep that sting setting up kind of high because I love the dive, but now it's gone. Okay, so if you want to use fuzz and you don't want it to have a bunch of background noise, we turn the sting off, and then we have just the fuzz tone left over. Let me play a big riff with this sound, like low-end and high-end intervals, and let's see what it sounds like with that sting setting off. Still seems to have really good clarity, so it's definitely not like completely tonally related. Let's do that same intro riff or something similar to it. Okay, alright, cool. This is neat, because I'll be honest with you guys are discovering this pedal along with me. Like I said, this is Steven's, and I'm doing the review on it just because I wanted to make all of the weirdest noises I possibly could. He's probably much more knowledgeable on the actual ins and outs of a fuzz pedal in general. I know that there's like germanium fuzzes and other math equation fuzzes, and there's a lot of wide variety, just like gain and overdrive and distortion. I'm starting to dig this more and more, and we're only a few minutes in. Okay, so let's mess with something else. Let's keep that sting off for the sake of clarity. I want to hear what these other things do. So let's look at the flight. The flight is it sets the response of the frequency modulation. Oh, so it's interactive with the sting. Okay, so to mess with the flight, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and put the sting back at noon, and we're gonna listen to the flight. So let's see. The flight, we're going to turn it off. We're going to turn the sting to noon, and we're going to turn the flight off. Let's see what this sounds like. Same riff. Okay, so arcade game from the 80s ate too much pizza, and someone tried to put a Chuck E. Cheese coin in it, even though I don't know if Chuck E. Cheese was around in the 80s. That's what that sound is. So let's turn the flight all the way up. Let's go from 0 to 10. All right. I'm afraid to turn my volume knob on. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So based on those, as we're going, okay, I think our quest here is I'm going to find in this pedal how I would use it. Like how, if I put this on my board instead of it being on Steven's beautiful board, which is beautiful, by the way, guys. Crazy. I'm going to try to figure out the setting that I would put it in. So far, and I'll probably have to tweak all this again. But so far, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the sting down quite a bit. Like maybe to 3. Or I'm sorry, I mean 9 o'clock. So like 3 amount out of 10, but 9 o'clock as far as the clock is concerned. And then I'm going to turn the flight back to maybe noon. And let's listen to that. You know what, though? It's either super fun to have that big dive bomb, or I want it to cut clean off. So I actually think I'm going to turn the sting off. So the sting should get rid of that power suck sound, that woo, like so. Yes, okay, it does. Okay, so I've identified one of them, 100%. Okay, now let's look at, oh, I see. Okay, so the first knob on the left, Queen, that controls the amount of harmony just by itself. So these other ones are messing with frequencies and creating these siren sounds and these beautiful, like, 8-bit crushing video game kind of tonalities, but the Queen itself controls the hive. That Beetronics. You guys thought this through. These names are, I could have figured this out without your card, I think. Kudos. All right, let's turn the Queen all the way down. And let's go back to 6. I've been really jiving with this 6 setting because we played it for like 10 minutes before we started. So I think I want it to be on 6. Okay. Let's see. So the Queen is off. So I shouldn't be able to hear number 6 or any number at all, I don't believe. And I've got my sting all the way off as well, so I don't believe my flight is being affected at the moment either. So this should be like a straight fuzz sound, shouldn't it? With my knowledge, I think. Let's find out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I get it. I totally get it. Okay. So now I'm going to turn the Queen all the way up. Hungry Mama. All right. Let's see. Queen on 6. I really wish that I'd strum my guitar and just like track 6 of a Queen album would start playing in its entirety instead. Never mind. Okay, so I think I'm right about 6 being just like a unison or an octave. So let's try a weirder one. Let's pick a rando. Let's do 3. That wasn't 3. That's 3. There we go. Let's try 3. Ooh, that sounds like a low octave or something. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I had no idea how versatile fuzz pedals could be. I thought it just was like gain but with more noise and with like a wider frequency. And I knew it always played spongy, like kind of dumbly, like but I didn't I guess I'm just like completely new at fuzzes because every time I change something on here, I'm kind of shocked. Let's turn the Queen to noon and let's see what happens there. Let's see if that changes things like erratically again. Let's see. Cool. Fat, fuzzy, fun. A little bit of an additional interval in there as well. Okay, let's look. I've got 2 more knobs I haven't touched at all. Let's address those. Let's look at... Oh, okay, cool. So let's look at the knob at the very bottom, the chicken head that's at the very bottom. That is going to be the fuzz level. So I assume that that's the gain level, not like master volume. But we'll find out. So right now we're sort of noonish. Let's... Oh, and it goes backwards? Oh, 0's over here. Cool. Okay, so 0's over here. What does that sound like? Oh, like nothing. That was just my hands not on the strings. Okay, so let's turn it up a little. Let's turn it up to 2. Okay, 2. Definitely like a lot less clarity in my physical note, but it has this really incredible filter sound to it. So let's go to like 5. So we're on 2. Let's crank it. Okay, so this one's the one that I know to be fuzz. This is what fuzz sounds like to me in my head. Sorry. Whoa, everything's so responsive. It would take me hours to probably dial in the tone of my dreams. But the thing is, though, that's not a diss. That's a huge compliment. This thing is so versatile and goes all over the map just with simple flips of a knob. This would be one of those pedals that I'd keep a picture of my knob settings in my phone just in case I bumped them on stage or something. You know what I mean? Like, I know you guys do that. Please tell me I'm not the only one that does that, where like you get that tone at a venue, so you snap a photo of like your more complicated pedals so you know exactly what their settings are. I do that. You should do that. There's a digital camera built into your phone, just in case you didn't know. So let's do this final knob here, and then I'm gonna try to dial in what I think I want. Okay, so our final one is drone. This is the sub-harmony level. So there's a harmony level and a sub-harmony level. Both, I assume, controlled by the species, because the species is the actual interval itself. Okay, so let's mess with this. Let's turn it off. Let's turn everything else back sort of to kind of where I started. So the Queen's at noon. The Species is going to be, we're going to go back to, no, we can stay there. We can stay on 3. We'll stay on 3. The Sting is off, so the flight is very mildly affected, I guess. Or is heavily affected, so the flight will be mild. And I think now that I'm putting the words together, just the verbiage, the flight might be that meow sound. There's going to be a lot of clipping of me doing that today, I think. Anyway, so let's hear this thing. It's off, so we shouldn't hear a sub-harmony. Oh, fuzz pedals. Okay, so now I figured it out. Ideal vacation. Me, this same level of incredibly bronzed tan, at a beach condo with thin walls, a Fender Deluxe, a Tele and a Strat, and a Beetronics Swarm, and all my volume dimed. I think my entire vacation length would be 14 minutes because that's how long it would take for them to break the door down because I'm not answering. I'm on vacation. But this is sick. All right, let's do another one. Let's turn this drone up to noon. Okay. All right. So apart from I have lack of control over some of my notes in some of these areas, I think I would keep that drone setting a little bit lower for my personal taste. But let's hear what it sounds like at 10 because this isn't about my personal taste. $10. Drone 10. Wait. Okay. I'm joining a band that needs this. This is way more fun than I thought. You guys have no idea. Okay, all right. So now, lastly, I went over every knob, right? There's a master volume knob on the side. I'm not messing with that because we're recording, and if I turn it up or down, that's gonna mess us up. It's a master volume knob. It turns the volume up and down, keeps everything else normal, like kind of like an attenuator switch, I assume. Okay, I did them all, so I'm gonna try to dial in what I think I'd want. Let's attempt. And this is based off of the shoddy knowledge of me understanding what each knob actually does. Here we go. All right, so Species at 6. Sting at a lot because I like that power suck. So we're going to go full noon. Flight at 11 o'clock. The drive setting, we're going to go a little bit lower than we were. We're going to turn our drone back down to about 4. And we're going to leave our Queen at 1 o'clock. All right. Okay. What does this sound like? All right. So I think this is going to sound a little bit tighter than maybe your average fuzz because I'm so used to playing through a gain, like a standard gain or overdrive or distortion pedal where you don't want a whole lot of bleeding noise. But the super fun part about this is that like flight and sting mix where it does that crazy upper octave note that dives down at the end. I want that. So let's see what this sounds like. Here we go. Yeah, somewhere in there. All right, cool. All right, it's official. I'm a believer. Please leave that in there when you guys edit this. I think this thing is super rad. And I'll be honest with you, even if you didn't want that bee, flighty, stingy, buzzy sound effects, I think the fuzz that came out of this when I turned those features off was some of the best I've ever heard. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not tooting my own horn as far as playing to a fuzz pedal goes. I would need a lot more practice to become a real proficient fuzz player, but the actual tonality of this pedal is just so killer. So whether you can find the limited edition like Steven did, or just the regular one, which I think comes in like a gunmetal-y black gray color, which looks pretty baller too. If you're looking for a new fuzz, this thing is wild. Beetronics, you guys slay. Oh, also, if you guys are like Steven and I and like stickers, it came with some rad stickers, but I think they're already stuck to things, so I can't show you those. But you have to buy it to find them, okay? That's it. Remember to like and subscribe. Comment if you guys have any questions that you think we can answer. We've been really loving the comments, and we try to reply as fast as we can. We appreciate all of you guys. Treat yourself. Go check out Beetronics. Go check out pedals. Update your rig. Do something.